Peace. Infinite waters diving deep once again. It's the weekend. We're breathing in that beautiful prana, baby. Can I get a hello there? So I woke up today and I heard the news. Not good. Not good at all, right? A massive terrorist attack in Paris, killing 128 people. And first of all, my condolences go to the friends and family members of the people who lost their lives, because it's terrible when things like this happen. And when I actually stepped back, the French president said this is an act of war. So I know what this is going to escalate to if people don't think clearly, you see. Now, when something like this happens, we are all angered, enraged. Sometimes you're bitter. Sometimes you feel in total shock. And that's natural. But I always say, I wrote a long time ago, let love guide you, not fear. Because when someone attacks you, you want to attack them back. And then now you fall into this vicious cycle, and it's a never-ending cycle. You see, so a lot of people have been writing into me saying, what do you feel the world is coming to? Where do you feel the world is heading? And I always say, it all lies in our hands. You see, human beings, we have to realize that when something like this happens, it is a great opportunity to start asking the big questions. Why is it happening? How can we stop this from happening? You see, so it can become a great catalyst for global change, right? However, if you are moving more into fear, now, if you're not careful, you end up becoming like the people who did this atrocious act, ISIS. And that name ISIS, by the way, is an Egyptian goddess of truth, balance, right? So even that name, I don't even like saying it. If they're calling themselves a terrorist organization, that's blasphemy, right? Because that name wasn't even meant for that in the first place. So once again, I always say you always got to look beyond the story they're giving you, right? I say I watch the news to see what they're not saying. Yes, these things do happen, and it's terrible. But at the same time, you've got to ask yourself, is war the answer? Because if someone says this is an act of war, well, it means this could now justify them to go to war. But you see, the people who did this terrible act aren't too well, right? They need help. And they don't represent everybody in the country they are about to attack. You see, when they blew themselves up, they thought they had nothing left to lose. So really and truly, I always say these are the testing times we live in. One has to go to the German philosopher Hegel, who had what we call the Hegelian dialectic. And that works with thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Problem, reaction, solution. So once you understand that philosophical model, you begin to realize that problems can happen or be constructed. You will react to the problem, And now someone has a solution for you, right? That might be going to war. It could be having more police on the streets. So what's helped me along my journey is to realize what is taking place in terms of people blowing up each other, and it's terrible. But at the same time, when we talk of the government and leaders, you've got to lead yourself because everybody has their own agenda. Even myself, right? Right. My agenda is to help you guys out and the cat down the road and myself. But you see, as human beings, a lot of us, we are so in our day-to-day life. We don't realize that many of these acts which are taking place are happening due to ignorance. A lack of knowledge of who you are. My country is better than your country. Adopting man-made labels and religions will always lead to confusion, distraction, deception, and chaos. Simply because the ultimate truth is love. You see, that's what nobody's talking about. Everybody is up in arms because once again, fear only breeds more fear. Fear focuses on the problems. Love focuses on the solutions. And war can never be a solution because war just breeds more war, chaos, and nobody wins. So once again, my thoughts go to the people who have lost their lives, their friends, and their family. And really just to say that it's not all bad. No, it's not all bad in terms of where humanity is heading. These acts, right? I always say bad news always tends to go viral. But there are so many other amazing things happening. You see, as an alchemist, as a wizard, when these things happen, you've got to learn how to not let it affect you internally, that it knocks the juice, the fun out of life. Because the secret of alchemy is making the best out of the worst and not allowing external events to govern your internal condition. But you see, if something like this happens, all of a sudden, everybody wants to fight. We want to kill. We want to do this. We want to do that. Right? And once again, once you do that, that's a natural response. It is perfectly fine. But at the same time, you have to ask yourself, do you know the full story? Were you there? Do you know what happened? Right? And also, you have to ask yourself, how much compassion do I have? Right? Compassion for the people who lost their lives, but also compassion for the people who felt their lives weren't worth living. You see, that's a serious mental disorder and disease. So in healing the planet, ask yourself today, what am I doing to create positive change? Right? I connect with millions of people every single day. That's why I'm making this video, because I know there are lots of people in France who watch me, Brazil, all around the world, right? So I'm asking you right now, what are you going to do to inspire more positive change? You see, it is great when people can debate around what's just happened, because being silent won't help. You see, a lot of us, we don't want to talk about it because we feel it will go away. But what is done in the dark must come out in the light, you see. So as I see it, realize that what has happened is terrible, but it is not a true representation of what is happening on the planet. Because once again, the news is a business and the news edit, right? And once again, if they say, okay, you go and read a news story and it's just bad news, what does that do to your emotional state? It makes you feel like planet Earth is a very dangerous place. People are crazy. I can't trust people. You see, that's the message that many of us pick up when we read these kinds of stories. But at the same time, there are so many amazing things happening on the planet. So many people who are writing articles every single day, helping humanity awaken to their true potential and power. Because that's the only solution. When you realize that you are so much more than what you've been told. You see, the government means to govern the mental. Like the great speaker Krishnamurti said, have you ever wondered why we have leaders? Because you are supposed to be thinking critically, not just blindly accepting what they're telling you. They're spoon feeding you, right? You got to start to ask big questions. You got to start to open your mind and see between the lines of what is really taking place, the wider agenda, right? But in a nutshell, I always say these things, when they happen, it doesn't leave you with the best feeling in the world. So what do? I say, I'm going to continue to inspire, because only through inspiration can we get out of the mess we're in as humanity. Not by just blindly ignoring what is happening and going to your day job. Because once again, you now just become a cog in the machine. What are you going to do about it? What kind of art are you creating? How are you showing humanity that we are all one? Because so long as you live over there and I live over here, there's going to be war. It's all an illusion, right? So free the mind. My thoughts go to the people of Paris today, and realize, don't let it knock your spirit, right? Because believe, oh, believe. Tomorrow, I'm going to be still saying, can I get a hello there? Feels fantastic. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy yourself. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well. Stay healthy. Peace.